in terms of a fight like this next one, which is a big one, this is a bantamweight title bout. You got Merab coming in after a big win. You got Umar. I know, Luke, you're familiar with Umar. I mean, Merab is very confident. I know that they've been talking very loud on the internet about each other. I know that there's a lot going on with the camps and there's a lot going on with the fighters. This fight obviously means a lot to Merab to stay at the top and beat a guy like Umar, then most obviously because of the cultural differences, I'm assuming, or whatever they've been talking about on the internet. I don't want to misspeak. How good is Umar, Luke? Because I know you trained with him. I know he's number 2 in the rankings. I know you have a lot to say about him, but give us the real inside look on Umar.
Umar's always had it, man. He's always been that next generation of kids. Even more so, you know, you had Habib, which was like, he was so strong in grappling, and then you had Islam, which was like more of a dynamic striker. So he's that next generation. Then you had Umar. Umar was the next generation where he was just so fluid and so creative. And, you know, and he's got the great wrestling. He's got everything that these guys have and more. He is that next generation. But this is a tough matchup. Merab's just he's a tricky, tough, hard-nosed dude. So it's like, he's got to work around him. He's got to I mean, he can outstrike him, and he can not get out wrestled. I think that's where Umar can win. Umar can beat him everywhere, really. I mean, he can outstrike him, and then Merab can shoot in. Umar can counter him and get to his back. I mean, I'm telling you, he's better than him everywhere, really. I mean, Merab might have a wrestling advantage in some way, shape, or form, but not.
Yeah,
Umar can counter him. It's going to come down to determination.
It looks like a lot of people believe that too, because you don't usually get the challenger with a 2-to-1 favorite.
That's a crazy, yeah. I mean, but
Chuck, that's an amazing point when you talk about the betting odds on this. Merab is plus 195. Umar is 238. I mean, that's a crazy, that's a crazy
2-to-1.
That's a crazy underdog advantage.
Yeah, honestly, like when you look at it, just like think about it, you're like, oh, it's a tough matchup for Umar. Like, but then you start really looking at it, and you're like, wait, he's going to outstrike Merab, and then Merab's going to get frustrated. He's going to shoot in. Umar's going to counter him. He's probably going to get to a dominant position, and it's going to go back up. I don't see it like that fight going any other way.
What do you think about Merab, Chuck? You have anything about him?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know a lot about him. I watch him a little. I might watch him some. But yeah, but if he's saying, I mean, if Luke's saying Umar's wrestling's that much better than him, that's going to be a problem.
Luke, you're breaking down the
outstrike him, and he's going to be able to counter.
I think the only thing is not better. I mean, is that much better is his wrestling, but his wrestling's really, really good, and his jiu-jitsu I think is a lot better. So I think he can get to. He's longer. I think he can get to better positions.
Yeah. You bring up a good point, Luke. You bring up a good point how you're matching it 1-to-1. You're almost breaking it down like a coach, very, very intellectually. One thing I want to ask right now, as you're breaking that down,
by that?
Yeah, a little bit. Not about fighting, but in general, yeah. As you're breaking it down, just like any coach would be, if you know that, like I'm sure Merab's team knows that what you just said is kind of like common knowledge. How does a guy like Merab then go into this fight and get an edge or figure out how to beat him then?
It's just pressure and control and not losing position. Really, I mean, I think it's ring control is his biggest asset is being able to put Umar in a bad spot. I would imagine. And then maintain control. Obviously, you have to put him in a bad spot, and then you have to get him, you know, because if you attack him at open mat, you're gonna hit scrambles, and Umar's gonna counter. He's gonna get on top. He's gonna get to a better position. If Merab's able to control him, energy, and put him in a bad position, and then fucking take him, then he's got more of an advantage if he pins him on the wall and he's not losing these scrambles just because he can control the position.
Luke, if you were Merab's coach, how would you expect him, or how would you kind of train him or coach him on coming out in that first round? Because you've talked about championship rounds, those third and those fourth and those fifth rounds, but going into that first round, how would you want him to come out if you were Merab's coach?
You know, I just said it really, and I'd rather not speak too much on it because I know Umar very well, and
that makes sense.
I'm not here to speak against it. How to beat him.
I'm not saying how to beat him. I'm just saying if you were a coach, how does a guy like Merab come out?
He's my teammate.
You know, that makes sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't say
he's my teammate.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't say that.
How would you? Hey, wait.
How would you beat your teammate?
How would you beat your buddy?
Well, I thought I could get some juice out of him.
Hey, you want the same thing with Islam? I mean, come on.
Hey, I was trying to get some juice. I get it, Luke. Thanks for being an honorable friend and teammate.